Good night, America. It's time for your Political Maniacs. In this week's Political Maniac, President Trump has managed to offend an entire group of people. The White House held a ceremony last week to honor the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic athletes who competed in the 2018 Winter Games. Things took an awkward turn when President Trump admitted that the Paralympic events were tough to watch, but that he watched as much as he could. While Trump's people are claiming that the remarks were most likely to refer to the president's busy schedule, this is hard to believe, considering that we know he spends 4 to 8 hours a day watching television. Let's talk about President's latest disrespectful comment towards another group of individuals. Now remember, this comment from President Trump about the Paralympics is just it's not the beginning of his derogatory comments for those who are quadriplegic or to those who are Americans who suffer from disabilities. Remember, during candidate Trump talked about a reporter who suffers from a destabilizing illness, and he made fun of said reporter.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said. This is 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction.
In this video, you see him making fun of a reporter at a rally and doing the gestures of what one would do if he was disabled. So this president has a track record of making fun of those that are disabled. Now, let's take a listen to what the president said at the White House while honoring the Olympics, the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic athletes.
So today, on behalf of the United States, I want to thank every Olympian and Paralympian. And that was just incredible. And what happened with the Paralympics was so incredible and so inspiring to me. And I watched. It's a little tough to watch too much, but I watched as much as I could. It was really fantastic, and I want to thank you.
And in response to this the president's heinous quote, we heard from a congresswoman who made history in America for being the first female member of Congress to actually be pregnant while serving in the United States Senate. Tammy Duckworth, she said this on Twitter. It is not tough to watch incredible Paralympic athletes compete and showcase their talent. It's inspiring. These brave athletes overcome a lot to get to the finish line. We agree with you, Senator Duckworth. And you know, I gotta tell you, this president lacks a filter. And I guess people say, oh, this is his, tough talk. This is what you do when you're a tough-talking president, blah, 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 blah. But these athletes represent our country on the world scale. They represent us globally. Globally, America. And the fact that our president would disrespect them like this is beyond the pale. And the fact that every time he does these things, instead of the White House team just owning it, right? Just owning it, owning up to the fact that the president lies and the president says these bad things, they begin to spin. So I promised my team, I was at the White House Correspondents' Center, and I said I don't want to talk about what happened at the White House Correspondents' Center. I don't want to talk about the comedian. I don't want to talk about her act. But this is what I will say about her act. Right? I thought her act was harsh. I thought her act was despicable. I thought it was very mean to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. But there's some truth to what she's saying, right? Because none of these individuals who work for this president will just say the truth. They all, don't get me wrong. It is the job of every White House spokesperson to spin for the president. You're supposed to spin, and you're supposed to sort of, create narrative. But really, what President Trump does is he goes out there and he's like, look, the sky is green. And his team says, well, what the president was really trying to say was he was looking through a green glass. He had the green sunglasses on. And when his green sunglasses is on, it makes the sky look green. And then everybody's like, but we saw him. He didn't have on green sunglasses. The sky's blue. So in this particular case, we know for a fact this president watches hours of television. Hours. He wakes up at like 4 a.m. in the morning and he watches television to about 11 a.m. in the morning. On the weekends, all he does is watch cable news. He couldn't find any time to watch Paralympics. And if he watched the Special Olympics and the Paralympics, America. And I think he did. And he said exactly what he felt off the prompter. And it was a little tough to watch. Meaning it was tough to watch these brave and inspiring athletes, is what he was saying. It was tough to watch them because they happen to be disabled. That's what he was trying to say. There's no ands or buts about it. There's no spinning necessary. It's just a fact. He has a problem with people who are disabled. Period. And the proof is in the pudding. He did it to a reporter while he was candidate Trump. He's done it at the White House to these brave and bold and inspiring athletes. In his Department of Education, his Secretary of Education has gutted the Civil Rights Department, which deals with ensuring that some of these same individuals, these Americans who suffer with disabilities, have access to a high-quality public education. His education secretary doesn't even know what IDEA is, which is a law that helps those individuals that are disabled in public education. She didn't even know what it was during her hearing. But he still appointed her to be Secretary of Education. This administration lacks the basic understanding to protect those individuals who are disabled. Okay? Last summer, the disabled community gained national attention for successfully preventing the GOP's repeated attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act. The effort to cut necessary services like Medicaid is only one of countless ways Trump has disrupted the lives of the 56 million people in the United States who are disabled. In December, America, if Betsy DeVos wasn't enough for you, the DOJ rescinded long-awaited Obama-era Americans for Disabilities Act regulation that would have improved accessibility for people with disabilities. Likewise, the Trump administration has proposed budgets which slash funding for offices that enforce civil rights at the Department of Justice, at the Department of Education, at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and this list continues, America.